We all know the classic story of Izukmatoria. A quirkless boy who dreams of being a hero like his idol All Might, and upon receiving his power from All Might, he would become the greatest hero the world has known. If it were not for the torch passed on to him, who knows where he would have ended up. This is a story of a different torch, however, one that contains the power of quite literally the entire galaxy and the universe beyond. While we know the story of how Izuku became the #1 hero in the world, this is a story about how Izuku becomes the greatest hero in the galaxy with a whole new torch that was passed to him, that being the Omnitrix. New challenges, new abilities, new situations, and perhaps even some new characters. Dig, the next wielder of the Omnitrix. Written by Rabidu, Chapter 1. Welcome to Earthman 10-0-0-0-1. The night sky was beautiful over the city of Hessa tonight. The city bustling with life as its citizens either were going home or going out with their companions, heroes patrolling the blocks for villains, occasionally greeting the citizens and taking pictures with them. It was as if all was right in the world. People were on their phones watching footage of the most recent villain attack and admiring their heroes in action. The most common talk of the night were that of Kamui Woods, Mount Lady, and, of course, the #1 hero, All Might. Hey, look at this! A schoolgirl exclaimed, holding her phone out to her friends, who looked in curiosity. Dr. Enema was caught just now trying to rob a bank a few miles from here. Ugh, this guy's super gross. His quirk is to mutate animals and change them into monsters, isn't it? The girl's friend asked. If I were a hero, I wouldn't go anywhere near him, not even if I had a 6FT pole to beat him with. Just thinking about even having to cuff him gives me hives. Who stopped him this time? The third friend asked. Looks like All Might again. Kingdom almost seems like that's the only hero the news ever reports on nowadays. What do you expect? The guy's the #1 hero in the world. Though, I don't think Enema was worth All Might's time. Didn't he get caught a few months ago by Endeavor? Yeah, but only because he kept crying about how Endeavor was burning his animals. My pets, oh my precious creations. Can you even call them animals? If you stare long enough, they almost look like aliens, don't they? Come on, there's no way aliens exist. Have you been watching Star Wars again? The three girls laugh at the comment and continue to walk towards the train station. What they don't realize is aliens that truly do exist, that they are not alone in the universe. The proof that some may ask for such a claim. Simply look into the night sky of Hessa City. There, a strange red creature had just entered Earth's atmosphere and flew over the ocean, creating a small splitting double wave as it did. Soon, it stops and hovers over the glowing city. So, this is Earth Setzel's home world, and the home world of the human race, the strange creature said to itself as it observed the city. A lot brighter than I thought it would be, but so far, nothing impressive. The tech they're using when compared to that of the rest of the galaxy is almost laughable. But considering they haven't gone extinct yet, they have to be doing something right, I suppose. Guess I'll go down and take a look. The creature then flew down and landed on a beach piled with trash. A bright green flash lights up the area momentarily as it died, revealing a young adult in a black and green short-sleeved hoodie with gray hair, black eyes and 2 scars on his face. Now that the blending in part won't be a problem anymore, the young man said as he turned to face the city, flipping his head down. Time to see what Earth has in store for Ren 10-0-0-0-1. Ren runs up the stairs and immediately bumps into a skeletal man wearing a plain t-shirt and green jeans. They both fall down onto their backs. Ren immediately gets up and offers the man his hand. Sorry about that, I'm kind of new to the area. Ren said playfully. It's quite alright, young man. You really shouldn't be out this late though, don't you have school or a college lecture in the morning? The man lectured as he grabbed Ren's hand and stood. Oh, I don't really know what that is, but it's safe to assume that I don't. Ren replied confusingly. Alright then, say, you wouldn't happen to know the time, do you? My phone died a couple of minutes ago, so I sort of lost track of it. The old man asked. Your guess is as good as mine, I just got here a few minutes ago. Ren replied. Just got here. But, there's nowhere else to enter from. The man thought to himself. But, you have a watch, don't you? Huh. The man points to Ren's wrist. Oh, that. It doesn't exactly tell the time. Heh? Ren replied nervously. A bit ironic, isn't it? To wear a watch that doesn't tell time? The man asked. Tell me about it. Well, I'll be heading out now. See you all later, old timer. Ren said, running off. Suddenly, Ren stops dead in his tracks and turns to the man again. Hey wait, I almost forgot. He called out. The skeletal man turns to face him. Your name? I never got your name. Ren yelled out. You can just call me Toshinori, the man yelled out. Nice meeting ya Toshinori, I'm Ren. Catch ya later. Ren said as he began running afterward. Toshinori watches Ren take off with a bit of curiosity. Ren huh? After a few minutes of confused walking, Ren finally made it to the center of Hessa where it was still full of life. Food stands were still open as people lined up to get a taste. Ren stared in awe of just how many people there were and the amazing smells that surrounded him. Wow, from up top this place didn't seem like much. But now that I'm down and about, Ren said suddenly he hears a commotion from the ramen noodle stand. There were 3 men ganging up on the owner, one of them having him by the collar as he shouts. Heard you snitched to the police about what happened the other day. One of the thugs yelled. No. The police and heroes just came by for questioning and I just told them what I saw, that was it, I swear. The owner of the stand yelled. Well, because of that flapping mouth of yours, one of our buddies ended up getting put in the slammer. The second thug yelled as he knocked over the pot of broth. Please stop. I didn't do anything. Please don't destroy my stand. Oh, don't worry, once we're through with you, you won't be doing much of anything anymore. The first thug said as he activated his quirk. His hand began to glow a bright yellow and red as he slammed down on the counter. The moment he did, the counter caught on fire and his hand melted right through it. Please, I beg you. The owner yelled out in fear. Hey! Ren called out to the thugs. All 3 of them looked behind him to see Ren staring at them. Leave him alone. Does it seriously take 3 muscle heads to threaten 1 person? Ren yelled. The first thug lets go of the owner and tosses him to the third thug. Make sure he don't go nowhere, I'm about to teach this kid some manners, the first thug said as he walked towards Ren. You really should shut that mouth of yours, kid, you don't want a piece of any of us. Oh yeah? Ren replied as he took a step closer to the thug and looked at him in the eye. And what if I don't want a piece? You gonna cut me one? There was a long stare between the 2 figures, with Ren grinning the entire time. The civilians witnessing this remained silent while some run off to find the authorities. Finally, the thug chuckles. Look kid, I'm a nice guy, beating up youngsters ain't really my forte. So how about this? I let you walk away, you pretend you never saw this and I don't smash your goddamn teeth in. How's that for a piece of this? The thug asked. Ren takes a moment of silence, then finally, he answers. You know what, on second thought, you're right. I don't want a piece, Ren replied. I want the whole damn pie. The thug looked at Ren, whose eyes and composure were brimming with confidence. The thug takes a huge right swing with his arm glowing red and yellow. Ren held up his right arm, about to slam down on his watch when a long wooden branch from behind him extends past and wraps up the thug. That's enough, both of you. A man behind Ren says. Have some respect for the people around you. Oh shit, it's Kamui Woods. The second thug yelled. Screw this noise, I'm outta here. The third thug yelled as he tried to run with his comrade. Both of the thugs however run right into another hero, who easily restrains them both. Crap, even Death Arms is here. The thugs yelled. In a rush fellas. Death Arms asked. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of time soon with where you're going. Death Arms then looks at Kamui Woods. All clear, Death Arms said as he noticed the first thug glowing red. Camel the bindings Kamui had on the thug then begin to light on fire. The thug then bursts out of the bindings of Kamui Woods and charges at him. I ain't going back to the slammer, you hear Mel? The thug yelled. Shit, I have to do something. Ren thought to himself as he prepared to slam down on his watch yet again. Just before he could however, a powerful torrent of water strikes the thug, cooling him down while pushing him back. How about we all just cool down? The man in the fire jacket said. Kamui looks behind him to see another hero. Backdrift. Kamui yelled. Once the torrent of water stops, the thug's skin then begins to harden, rendering him immobile. He struggles furiously against his newly created obsidian straitjacket. Damn it, damn it, damn it! The thug yelled in anger. Kamui takes a breath and gives a thumbs up to Backdrift. Thanks, you really saved me there. Kamui saw the Backdrift. Backdrift rubs the back of his head embarrassingly. Don't worry about it, we're fellow pros right? Backdrift replied. Camel if you don't mind. Death Arm said to Kamui as he held up the other 2 thugs. Kamui then binds them up with his quirk. Ren looked at the heroes in both confusion and in surprise. Who are these guys? Are they heroes or something? Why are there 3 of them? Are they a team or something? Ren thought to himself. Death Arms then looks in Ren's direction, their gazes meet. You know, I got half a mind to take you into custody as well kid. Death Arms said Ren huh? For what? What did I do? Ren replied. Death Arms approaches Ren who barely flinches at his yelling. From the looks of things, you are the one instigating the fight. What's worse, you are even about to start a physical fight in a public space. Do you have any idea what you are doing? People could have gotten seriously hurt. Death Arms yelled. Are you kidding me? I didn't do anything. They were harassing this guy and no one else was around at the time. What? I was just supposed to sit around and let them wreck this guy's shop. Ren yelled back. He's telling the truth, Death Arms, sir, the owner said as he stood up. They were wrecking my stand and harassing me because I gave an eyewitness statement against one of their friends a couple of days ago. Had it not been for this young man, the damage to my shop would have been much greater. Death Arms looks at the owner with a look of shock on his face, then he looks back at Ren. Even if they did try anything, I could have handled myself. Ren added. Death Arms grunts in frustration and leaves. Don't do nothing like that again, you hear me, brat? Death Arms yelled out. What an ass, Ren thought to himself as he looked at the three heroes leaving with the thugs. Thank you, young man, for helping me, the owner said to Ren. Ren turns to face the owner. Don't worry about it. Besides, those guys handled most of it, not me. Ren replied. Nonsense, had you not stalled them long enough for the pros to arrive, my shop would have been as good as dust. So once again, thank you, young man, for your courage, thank you. The owner said as he shook Ren's hands up and down. Please, let me repay you with a bowl of my famous ramen. The owner walks back behind his stand and grabs another pot. Ramen? What's that? Ren asked. A Japanese delicacy. Please, sit. It's on the house. The owner said excitedly. Ren simply shrugged and sat down at the counter, watching the man prepare him a bowl of ramen. Unfortunately, they knocked over my last good pot of broth. So I'll have to reheat a cold batch. No worries, take your time. As Ren watches the owner prepare the ingredients, he thinks over about what Death Arms said to him. From the looks of things, you are the one instigating the fight. What's worse, you are even about to start a physical fight in a public space. Do you have any idea what you are doing? People could have gotten seriously hurt. Hey, what do I call you? Ren asked. You can just call me Kev, the owner said. Alright then. Chef. What is it? Those three guys back then, were they heroes or something? The owner stops in his tracks and looks over his shoulder at Ren with a curious look. Chef waits for Ren to retract his question, hoping it was just a joke in poor taste. Ren continues to stare with a blank look. You're not joking, are you? They're the pro heroes Death Arms, Kamui Woods, and Backdrift. They're actually pretty famous around this area, Kamui Woods especially. He's in the top 10 list of pro heroes in Japan. The owner begins to slice a piece of meat, egg, and squid as he explained. I am more surprised you haven't heard of them before. It must be nice to have a quirk that you can use to help people. Quirks? What do you mean quirks? ? Ren asked curiously. You saw Kamui wrap up those thugs in Backdrift cool down that one guy, didn't you? That's their quirks. Some amazing ones, I'd say. So, quirks are basically just like their abilities. Like, if I can shoot blasts from my hand, that would be my quirk. I suppose, yeah. But that's if you can shoot blasts from your hand. So that tree guy had a wood quirk and that yellow jacket guy had like a water quirk. More or less. Huh, it looks like humans managed to evolve to the point where they get special abilities. I don't remember Sense ever mentioning that part about Earth. I wonder, hey chef, does everyone have a quirk ? Ren asked. Not exactly, chef said as he shakes the water off of the noodles. Almost everyone in the world has one these days, some small, some big, but it's almost safe to say that the entire world is filled with quirks. Almost. There are some people who are quirkles, as in people who don't have the quirk at all, despite both of their parents possibly having quirks. Chef pours the broth into the bowl of noodles, all while carefully adding in the meat, egg, and squid. I hear that people who are quirkles have harder lives. Because these days, being quirkles is more or less treated as a bad thing. It's almost like a death sentence. They're often looked down upon in society and treated as a lesser being. It's heartbreaking to witness, honestly. Ren listens silently to Chef's words, letting it all sink in as he thinks over what he just heard. He puts his head down and reminisces about his childhood. An image of a child crying in the mirror flashes in his mind, only for a split second. I guess no matter where you are in the universe, if you're different, you'll be treated like so, Ren whispered to himself. Say, young man, where are you from exactly? Chef asked. Why do you ask? Ren replied. Well, you're asking all these questions about the pro heroes, quirks. It's almost as if you've never seen someone with a quirk before. I was just curious is all. Where I'm from, Ren trailed off. Never thought humans could have abilities like that, Ren whispered to himself. Ren then looks up to Chef, who was puffing on the gamishes of the ramen. "Do you have a quirk, Chef?" Ren asked. Chef pauses for a moment, then he smiles. "Quirkless or not, it doesn't matter to me in the slightest. I won't let something as small as that stop me from doing what makes me happy the most," Chef replied as he put the bowl of ramen in front of Ren. "Enjoy." Ren looks at the bowl of ramen with awe and anticipations. He took one whiff of the aroma emanating from the bowl and smiled. "Oh, how do I Ren asked. Chef smiled and grabbed a pair of disposable chopsticks for Ren. "Break them apart." Ren does as he says and breaks the two chopsticks apart. He picks up a heaping strand of noodles and blows on it to cool it down. As he took his first ever bite at ramen, the flavors of the broth and the softness of the noodles could only trigger him to say a single word: "I do not own either Boku no Hero Academia or Ben 10. This is simply a fanfiction, all rights belong to their respective